All right, welcome. So this is kind of a bulk of Unit 10. We're going to focus on 10.5. It's going to be done over a couple of days because there's so much to it, and we want to make sure you get the information and get it accurately and practice it well. So this is the first day of notes. So we're going to be focusing on angles today. So angles within inside of a circle. So you can see that this is the center of the circle at W, and you can see there's other angles inside the circle. So whether they are at the center or on the edge. So today's focus for 10.5 are angles in a circle, either at the center, so the angle is actually made at the center of the circle, or on the edge of the circle. So go ahead, and if you need to slow this down, rewind it, whatever you need to do, back it up. Whatever you need to do to get this information, but have these filled out and when you come in tomorrow. All right, so a central angle is an angle whose vertex is at the center of the circle and sides are radii. So you have an angle here at the center of the circle, and you have a radius on one side of it and a radius on the other. We've done these before. We know that the measure, so any central angle, is equal to the arc measure, or the measure of the arc it intercepts. And we talked about this. This is just the notation. This is just the definition and how things go. So we've talked about, and you've done it before, how if you have the arc, it's facing, that the angle and the arc have the same value. So QWT here is also 120, and from Q to T, the short way, the measure of Q to T is 120. So the arcs and the angles are the same. Now, one thing you're going to find, we are still not going to do angles over 180 degrees. So you will still have straight angles in the picture, or supplements or complements, but they are not going to be over 180. The arcs can be, but not the angles. All right, the next one is an inscribed angle. We've seen these a little bit. So it's an angle whose vertex is on the circle and the sides are chords. So they're going to go completely across from one side of the circle to the other side of the circle. It does not have to go through the center, but it goes from one side to the other side. So any inscribed angle is equal to the arc it faces, so the intercepted arc, divided by 2, or 1/2 the arc. Okay, so a lot of these pictures, they do look the same. The one up here and the one up here, so we are incorporating both kinds of angles together. The A is the center of the circle. You have the 2 radii here. The arc is out here. The angle is here. It comes in like that. So angle BAD is 110. Now, when you look at this one, so when you go from B to E to D, you have 2 chords going across the circle. So from B to E and E to D, those segments are the chords. And you have the arc it faces is still that 110. So we take the 110 in here. Now, it's not the same angle as here, but it's divided by 2. And so angle BED comes out to be 55 degrees. All right, so this is a good time for you. Oops, sorry. Good time to pause the video and try to fill in these 3 measures. Okay, so go ahead and pause it. E is the center. You have 2 inscribed angles with chords going across. So pause it and come back to this and I'll do a little explanations. So E is at the center, so 98 comes in. That's the center. The center and the arc it faces are always the same. When the angle is on the edge of the circle, so like this, you want to find how much it is between the 2 chords. So kind of extend them out. So this is 98 here, but the angles are not the same. It's always 98 divided by 2, or 98, 1/2 of 98. So JEN is, sorry, I didn't fill that in. And this one is 49. And coincidentally, JCN intercepts the same mark. So I just made squiggly. Sometimes it helps to do in different colors to mark the chords differently, or the line segments. So we're going to still go from squiggle to squiggle here. So this is 98 again between the 2, but again, because it's on the edge of the circle, that is the focus, where the location of the angle is. At the center, they are equal. If it's on the edge of the circle, no matter what it's made from, and you're going to see a different kind next, it's half the arc. All right, tangent chord is an angle whose vertex is on the circle and whose sides are a tangent. So it's either a line or a segment, and a chord. Okay, you have a couple ways you can look at them. So remember, just to review, a tangent is going to come at a circle and touch it at one point and keep going. If it's a line, if it's a segment, it's going to go from point to point. And then the chord is going to kind of go off any direction through the circle. It can be very narrow, it can be very wide. But again, the angle is never over 180. All right, so on this information, when we start working with these circles, you have a bunch of them. They're going to get more complicated as we go. E is the center here. You're going to want to find out the missing arc. So recall that a 360-degree circle. So subtract what you know to find the missing arcs of the circle. AER, starting at the center, it brings it in at 120. So the first one is 120. R to M to A, so RMA, it does help to trace them so you can see where are the two sides where the arc is going between them. So RMA is the 120 divided by 2, so that ends up being 60. ARM, so ARM, A to R to M. Now this one is going between the 2 squiggle lines at the 160, so I'm using a different arc to get that angle. So this is 160 divided by 2, or 80. MAR, now these pictures will get complicated, so M to A to R, oops, I went the wrong way, oops, sorry. M to A to R, so this is down here. Okay, so we're getting here at 80. So I take the 80 down here, divide by 2, and get 40 here. GRA. Now, this is the first one where you have a tangent and a chord. So you have one like this, hitting here for the tangent, and the chord's going across. Now this looks different, but really the focus is where the angle is made. It's on the edge of the circle. So we use the 120 between the 2 arcs, and divide by 2, and you get 60 there. The last one is AMN. So A to M to N is this outside one here where you are using the 2. So these 2 here is a 160. So it's on the edge of the circle. So it's 160 divided by 2, or A. So bring these in. We're going to start practicing these tomorrow. And let us know if you have questions. Thanks. Bye.